He's gonna die. He's gonna fight me. He's something like me. He thinks he's awesome.
Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking. I want to talk to you about this game. It is called Dirty Cops, a game for scoundrels. Dirty Cops is a card game where each player is going to play, oh, you guessed it, a dirty cop. But you're like an anti-hero dirty cop. You still, like, do the right thing. You still take out the criminals. But you're not above stealing a few dollars from the crime scene. You're not above grabbing that extra bag of drugs that's lying on the ground, for your own personal use. Because the whole point of this game is that, yes, you are a dirty cop, but you are, like, sacking money away in your offshore bank, and you're looking to retire a little early with a little extra scratch, to back up your retirement plans, if you will. So along the way, you are going to be, like, dealing with the other corrupt cops, your buddies, if you will, trying to do the exact same thing, and you have to watch out for them, like, for ratting you out, or for, like, stealing your money, or taking your drugs, or what have you. And so this is a very conflict-driven game that not only are you and the other players, facing off against each other, but not, like, shooting each other, bang, 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 like working behind the scenes against each other kind of thing. But you're also having to go to these crime scenes where this wide cadre of rogue villains, a rogues gallery of villains, waiting for you at those locations that you have to take down in a hail of gunfire, so that you may then claim the loot that they have. So, which are of course money and drugs and whatever. So anyway, it is a very it's a kind of a violent game, but it isn't like overly violent, if you will. It isn't like the artwork is very cartoony. It's very whimsical in a way. So I mean, it has like kind of a mature theme, but it does not have a mature representation of that theme, if that makes any sense to you. So anyway, so let me show you how to play Dirty Cops, and then we'll come back here and I'll tell you more about why my gaming group and I are having a lot of fun with this one. Alright, cool. Alright, let's go ahead and teach you how to play Dirty Cops. Alright, before the game begins, you will be given a cop that will represent you during the game. I've gone ahead and just selected this one. The guy who looks kind of like Columbo. His name is Salty Americo, and he is a veteran detective. He is male, he's age 42, and then it says at the end of the planning phase, I can draw one extra action card. Now, this is a game that has variable player powers and all these little different effects that each criminal or each item or each weapon or what have you have, and I love card games like this. I love tiny little powers that alter things up and change things up. And so you also get, like, more than obviously just him. You have several other police officers that you can get. You can hand these out. You can draw them randomly. You can do it however you want. I mean, like, here's Carl Swineslow. He is a skilled department sergeant. He is male. He's age 35. And once per cop attack round, you may spend 2 ammo tokens to fire a gun twice during the combat. So little different powers like that. I apologize. I'm probably like talking about different phases of the game. You don't really know how those work yet, but I will definitely show you out. Now, these things like their age and stuff are important because sometimes there will be variable situations where, depending on like the criminal, who they target will depend on those things. So, like, that isn't just fluff on there. That's important information that is located on the card. Before the game, you will be given like a starting hand of 6 cards. Now, there's these 2 decks here, and because of the fact that you don't want people to know what type of cards you have, the backs are going to look the same. Obviously, these are sleeved, and the backs look the same, but you know what I'm talking about. So each deck, like this deck, is the action card deck. These are actions that, depending on the phase, they have little special powers and things they can do. A rat card. Target cop with drugs loses half of their drugs, rounded up, and up to $300. So you can just go ahead and rat somebody out. ATF. Target cop loses half of their ammo tokens, rounded up. This is a prototype, so some of the art isn't finalized. Just keep that in mind. Switcheroo. Change the target of an action or raid card to a different valid target. Let's see here. Sticky Fingers. Steal 1 item and play from another target cop. So these are just different powers and abilities that you have, action cards. And everybody's going to start with 3 action cards in their hand. Now, this deck is going to be cards that are called defense cards, they're going to be called raid cards, and they're going to be called attack cards. And at the beginning of the game, you will separate these out. So you have all of the raid cards in one, all of the defense cards in one, and all of the attack cards in one. And then you will hand one of each card, raid, attack, defense, to each player. And then you will take the deck and you will shuffle it up again. And so, like, you put all of those cards back into a large pile. This is just so, you aren't kind of boned at the very beginning of the game, so you have access to the 3 different types of cards. And you don't just get, like, 2 raid cards and a defense card when you really need attack cards and things like that. So it's a nice way to start the game, and I really like that they did that. So then you get one of these offshore cash vault cards. This game is based on whoever has the most money will win the game. So this is a way you can put money away in an offshore bank that nobody else can touch it and steal from it. However, that isn't free. It does cost you money to do that. You have to kind of launder your money, so you lose some in the process, but I'll talk more about that in a little bit. You're going to get a little card that tells you what you can do on your turn. You get a basic gun that will always do 1 point of damage to a criminal. When you fight the criminals, you have to fight them. You can't just say, that's okay, I'm not going to fight. You have to do it. So sometimes if you don't want to do a lot of damage, you can just use this, or you might be just down to this. It can't be stolen, it can't run out of bullets. You'll always be able to do a point of damage. You will determine the lead detective in some way. However you're going to do it, I just gave it to me just so I can show that. The lead detective obviously is the first person to act in a round, but also they have a very important ability of they're the ones that divvy up the loot and decide what each person gets. So that's a very important ability. This is a game where the first player token, the lead detective, will be passed clockwise around the board, and depending on the number of players, either 3 or 4, the game lasts either 3 or 4 rounds, so everybody will get a chance to be the lead detective during the game. Alright, so you start with those 6 cards, and then you're going to go through what's called the planning phase. During the planning phase, you are going to go ahead and you're going to show the first crime scene. Those are those cards over there. Now, I already created the first crime scene, but there are all of these criminal cards that come with the game that have different powers and abilities and what have you that they go. They go from like punks, which are like Joey Jojo here, who and I'm just going to talk to you really quick about this. So here's Joey Jojo. He is a punk. He has $100 on him. He has 1 drug. He has 1 power, meaning he'll do 1 point of damage to the person he hurts, and he has 1 health. So, got my meth, ma! And he attacks the lead detective. So whoever's lead detective, this one is going to attack, and that's important. Then you move up, and you will have, let me find a thug here in here somewhere. Thugs. Oh, here we go, right on the top. So here's Enya Watts, I don't know. Criminal thug attacks the cop right of the lead detective. So whoever would be sitting to the right of me would get attacked by this particular criminal, and she gives +1 power, +1 damage, basically, to the criminal on the left. When you deal these cards out, you deal them in a line, like so, and so whoever's to the left of her gets +1 power. Now, if she's all the way to the right, it's not going to affect anybody, but, if she would have anybody over there, it'd be +1. She has $200, she has 2 drugs, 1 power, so it does 1 point of damage, and she has 3 health. And then we move a little further up, and we have mid-bosses. Here's Ashley Cinders, who attack, bonus either way. And then a little further up, we're going to get to enforcers. Like here's Right Eye Ty. And then finally, we have these guys that are like the kingpins that are like the most powerful of them, and they have the most money and most health and so on and so forth. And obviously you set up the decks prior to it, and like I said, you get a ton of these, so the variability of the game is going to be good because of the fact that you never know which criminals are going to show up. I mean, you do set it up so like the last crime scene is the toughest one to defeat, but it's just like you have multiple options and you never know what's going to be showing up. And I love card games like this that have that. So like they have the interaction between the cards that you can never really count on it being a certain way. Awesome. And also, and this is kind of a thing where I always love about these games is that when the inevitable expansion comes out, all they have to do is just give me a bunch more criminals and a bunch more cops and a bunch more weapons and everything like that. They don't have to mess with the rules. They don't have to change anything up. And it's just going to add life to the game. And I can't wait for expansions and things like that to come out for this game. Anyway, regardless, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Let me just show you how this happens. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to take the crime scene 1 off the top. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to flip these cards over 1 by 1 until you reach the thing that says crime scene 2, and then you're going to stop. And so, okay, so there we go. So we reached crime scene 2. We have our three criminals. And so now we have to put the stuff that they have on them. So, like here we have this thug, Noel the amateur. You have Noel, anyway, Leon the professional. Anyway, so and this game has a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor. I dig the art too. I like how they did this. But regardless, so he's gonna attack the cop left of the lead detective. He's got 2 health, he's got 1 power, and he's got 2 drugs and $200. So what you do is you're gonna take and you're gonna give him $200. Oh, I should mention that every player starts with $200. I apologize, I forgot about that. But anyway, regardless, $200. And so you're going to put the $200 that he has right there. You're going to take the 2 drugs that he has, put it right there. You give him 1 green cube to show him he has 1 power, and then you put his 2 health. So you might not be able to see this, but I'm just going to kind of quickly do this. So here we have a punk. She's going to attack the cop with the most drugs, or the lead detective. We're going to give her 2 health, her 1 power, and we're going to give her her $100. And she also has 2 drugs on her. And then finally we have Felicia Knight, who is the mid-boss, and we see that actually she gives +1 power to the person on the left. So we're going to go ahead and put another power on our, what is her name again? Yes, Ravina Lunacy. And then she has $500 on her. So let's go ahead and give her $500. We're going to go ahead and give her the 4 drugs that she has and put the 2 power on her. And I see that she's got 6 health, so she's pretty healthy. It's going to be tough to take her out, quickly anyway. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So now we've gone ahead and set that up, and it's still the planning phase. So now each person gets to draw 1 more card to flush out their deck as long as they have less than 7 cards. And we start with 6, we get 1 more. So I have some pretty good action cards. I have some pretty good weapon cards, and plus I have the ability of Salty Americo that you get to draw an extra action card during the planning phase. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this card. So I got another Bulletproof Vest, which that could have been worse, and I got an action card for my free action card that I get taxed. I can make somebody put $500 back in the bank. So I forgot to show you my cards I had. I apologize for that. But so we have these 2 bulletproof vests, and you can see that if you want to play these, it blocks 2 damage, then discard. If it's not discarded at the end of the crime scene, end of the crime scene is not discarded at the end of the crime scene if unused. I have this raid card that I can use on a target criminal, so they lose a power and they skip the next attack round. And then I have this weapon that's SMG. It deals 1 damage up to 3 different criminals. If used, discard at the end of the cop camera round. Now, some of these things have money on the bottom. That means during the sell phase, you can sell them for the money they're worth, which, is not a bad thing either, since you need money to win the game. But anyway, regardless, so now we have all our cards, and now we're going to go ahead and go to the crime scene phase. So you can play any number of defense cards and raid cards. But the big thing is you always want to see if you're actually going to get attacked. Well, this guy's attacking the person to my left. I don't care about that. She attacks the youngest cop, or the cop to the right. Remember, like I showed you, like this young cop? So if this person was playing this age 25 cop, I think that's the youngest one. Let's see here. 35, 36, 48, 27, 25. Yeah, so somebody was playing her. She'd be the one getting attacked by that particular cop. Now, if there's ever a tie for something, like someone will say, whoever has the most drugs, we're going to attack that one, or something like that. Actually, actually she says that. Attacks the cop with the most drugs or the lead detective. So, like, if there's a tie, you go to the secondary thing. So, since nobody has any drugs at the beginning of the game, she's attacking the one with the most drugs. She's going to attack me. I don't like her, so I don't want her doing damage to me. So I don't take damage. Let's go ahead and I'm going to play... I'm going to play one of my bulletproof vests. It has 2 health on it, so I'm going to go ahead and put 2 health on it like so, to show that so I can absorb that damage. And I can play raid cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and play my stun gun on her, because what it does, it makes her so she can't attack in the first round, and it takes away 1 of her power. And so we can remember that she doesn't attack the first round. I'm just going to go ahead and put that card above her like so we can remember that. So everybody else plays cards. I'm not going to go through all that, but then we just go through the process of having the criminals attack. So he's going to do 1 point of damage to her. She doesn't get to attack because of the fact that I played my stun gun on her. So we're just going to go ahead and put that there. And then she's going to attack the youngest cop, who is the person that is playing this cop. and she's going to do 2 damage to them. And so then, after all that is done, each person gets to draw 3 cards. You know, they can divvy it up in the deck, and then we're going to do another combat. Well, I apologize. I'm getting ahead of myself. We do actually do combat ourselves. Yeah, we do get to fight the cops. The cops do get to fight back. So I could use this, but the thing is that you want to be the person that kills the criminals. Because of the fact that if you're the one that kills them, you get to claim them, and you also get to claim their bullets on them. And bullets are good because of the fact that you can turn 2 of them in to do 1 point of damage to any of the criminals, or they're worth $200 each if you want to sell them. So, you know, I would just use my little 1 point, and I just click 1 point of damage off of her. And then maybe, hopefully, the other 2 people would, like, shoot him and her once for me. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm in a good spot now, because the next round, so now we actually, after everybody's attacked, we get to draw 3 cards. And so I'm going to draw, you get to draw, and you get to look at them as you draw them so you can see. So, well, I got another SMG. That's actually really good because I can play multiple cards. Let's draw another one and see what we get here. Okay, I got a med pack. I can heal a life, which is never a bad thing. It's also worth $100. And let's see. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and draw another one. See what here. Oh, sweet. This is going to be a great round for me, actually, because of the fact that I drew the shotgun. So, now as long as nobody messed with me, what I could do on my turn is I could go ahead and play 1 SMG like so, and I'd be like, I'd kill both of those, and I'd, you know, get to take these 2 bullets and put them over there, and then pull these aside, because whoever kills the most criminals is going to be the person that does, you know, they get a bonus at the end of the game. They get a $500 bonus. Whoever kills the second most gets a $200 bonus. And so we also do a point of damage to her, like so. Now, this probably wouldn't be the best idea in the world. Like, I want to save some of these, but since I can play as many as I want, I play another SMG. I'm going to take a point. Actually, you know what? I don't even have to use the SMG because there's only 1 left. I could use my standard gun, do another point of damage, and then I could use my shotgun, which does 3 damage. And so I can go ahead and put that down, and I do the last 3 damage to her, and I take her out. I take those 2 bullets as well, and then she's gone, like so. And so that would finish the crime scene phase, because we've managed to take out all the cops, or all the criminals, I should say. And, you know, and also the other people are probably still alive, which, you know, maybe I should have, you know, maybe held out. Maybe they could have gotten killed, so I wouldn't have to divvy up so much loot. But that's okay. We'll just go forward with that. So now what we do is we're going to have to divvy up everything we found. So we have a total of 8 drugs, and then we have $1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $800 in money. Now I'm using my poker chips for the money. These are not obviously the poker chips that you'll get with the game. There's paper money that's coming with the game that looks really cool with the same artwork. I really like it, but I didn't get that, so I'm just using these for simplicity. So we have a total of 16 items, and we have 3 people playing. Well, I have to, as the lead detective, divvy this stuff up evenly amongst everybody, but I divvy it up by item. Now remember, this is just straight money, whereas the drugs are worth $200 each. But remember, people can play those rat cards and things like that to like take my money or things like that. So you want to be careful how you divvy this up. And this is where the open negotiation happens, where you can say to somebody, look, I know the drugs are worth more money, so if I give you some, will you not play a card on me? Things like that. Now, none of those things are binding, but you definitely can have open negotiation with the other players, and I love that about the game. I love being able to exert my will on people and things like that. So, you know, so now you can go ahead with this process where you're going to go, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to take $400, and I'm going to take 1 drug. And then maybe I made a deal with him, so I said, you know what? I'm going to give you 4 drugs and $100. And then now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you 302. That leaves this 1 drug left, and now I get to decide who that goes to, and obviously, since I'm the lead detective, I'm going to go ahead and take that drug, and I'm going to keep that. And so now everybody has divvied up the loot, and they have what they have, you know, as far as their just desserts. Now, this is where people could be playing action cards to mess with things, to take things away from you, to, like, steal money before the loot happens. I had a card, actually, in here called, like, Sneaky. I could have played that at the very beginning just to take $200 and 2 drugs, and so there would, instead of having like 15 items, there would have been 11, and so like just to kind of screw with people, so you can do stuff like that to mess with the system and mess with what's going on. So just keep that in mind. But now, after all that is done, and we've figured that out. Now you can go. You have to heal up. You can't choose not to. You have to heal up to 6. So you go to the hospital for every point of damage you've taken. It costs $200 for every damage, and then and you have to do that. You can't just say, "Fine, I'm just going to go to the next round with only 3 health." You have to. If you don't have enough money, like I said, the hospital will take you on as a charity case and heal you for free. So after that, you then can sell any items that you have. You can sell your bullets, bullet cubes for $200 each. You can sell your drugs for $200 each. So let's say I want to sell both my drugs. I think I'll be fine. So then I would get $400 for that. And then what I could do is I didn't use up my bulletproof vest. I have another one in my hand. I'm going to sell my bulletproof vest, and that's another $300. So I feel pretty good. I've got a lot of money now. And it's like, but I'm going to keep the other cards that I have. Now, it's important to note that you have to discard down to 7 cards at this point, so you probably should sell stuff off to make sure you get down there if you have extra cards. This is also when you can go ahead and put money in your offshore account. So, like I have, let me see here, I have 500. I have plenty of money. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say I'm going to put $800 in my offshore account. So we're going to go ahead and say 800. So whatever you put in, you then have to pay 50% of that total to the back to the bank to do it. So I had to pay $400 to put $800 in my offshore account, but now nobody can steal that. So I'm going to go ahead and take $400 and put that back in the bank, and so that's on my offshore account. So now everybody does the exact same thing that I just did. We discard down to 7 cards, and we're going to start the whole process over again. And we will then set up the next crime scene. We'll draw cards, plan the whole thing out, and we're going to keep doing that until we get through all 3 crime scenes, and then whoever has the most money will win the game. So I hope that gives you a really good idea of how to play the game. It is very quick, very backstabby, very thematic, and a heck of a lot of fun. But let me talk more about that in my conclusion, which I will do right now. Oh man, did I enjoy playing Dirty Cops. This is one of those games that just hit on all cylinders for me. It has the variable player powers, it has open negotiation, it has cool art, it has an immersive theme. I used to play this play-by-mail game when I was like a wee lad. It was called It's a Crime, and for whatever reason this game reminded me of that. I think it was because of the punks and the thugs and the street dope and what have you, and corrupt cops. There was just like that play-by-mail game had all those aspects, and it had nothing to do with it. It had nothing even close to like how this game was played, but it was just one of those. It's like a gritty theme, but it isn't so gritty that like it's cartoonish art. You're shooting criminals, but it isn't like there's like bloody bodies lying on the floor or anything like that. So this is a game that I can play with my daughter and we can have fun with it. I don't have to worry about, me warping her fragile little mind when she's 8 years old. And she's really enjoyed it. She likes the whole idea of the process of like figuring out, okay, if I play this card, I do that much damage to it. I don't want to hurt him too bad because that'll mean somebody else will take him out, things like that. And I've been fun watching her, the little cogs and the wheels, rolling in her head as she tried to figure it out. Now, that being said, this is a game that was just made for my gaming group. We are a gaming group. We're buddies that have known each other for decades. We have long-standing grudges over feuds that happened when we were 15 years old over games of wiffle ball that'll be brought up in games when we're backstabbing each other and trying to steal each other's street dope and bullets and what have you. And it's all in good fun, and we can laugh and we can joke, and we have very thick skin about those things. Now, obviously, different gaming groups are different things, but I think for the most part, people recognize these things as just games, and they're meant to have fun. And, if that's not your cup of tea, if you don't really like the conflict, then fine, I understand why you wouldn't enjoy this. But if you enjoy those conflict-driven games, if you enjoy negotiating with people and saying, it's like, just please don't screw me over, I'll give you my 2 bullet cubes, and then you respond by saying, well, anybody who'd be willing to give me 2 bullet cubes to prevent me from playing this card would certainly give me 2 bullet cubes and $500. And so then then it's like, $500, you're crazy. Okay, well, I might as well. But no, we're still talking. We're still talking. You know, just like stuff like that. I mean, it has those signature moments of games that like you talk about later when you take that game out and play it again. You remember that time when like you played that card and you screwed me over? You know, like cursing and oaths of vengeance and pounding of the table over bad luck or good luck or what have you. And it's just like I said, it's not going to be a brain burner. It's not gonna you're not going to be like marveling over the deep strategic choices that you're making in this game, but you are going to be marveling over the fact that it has a wonderful set of mechanisms. It's ultimately hugely expandable, which I love, and it just provides you and your gaming group with a heck of a good time, and it doesn't overstay its welcome either. So I mean, there's just like things like that that just it hits every single thing that I'm looking for in a card game like this. It's giving it to me in spades, and I couldn't be happier that they asked me to take a look at this before they ran their Kickstarter campaign. So there you go. That's Dirty Cops. If you have any questions about the game or how to play it, please ask away. I'll try to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I'm the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.